WL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the country. Now you're probably wondering, why watch over here instead of over there? Because over there, they do not care about your thoughts, views, and opinions. They don't read any of the comments. They don't respect us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on Twitter and in YouTube and this and that. They say this all the time. They say this at least once a week. They look down upon us. I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing ever, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is awesome, then also, of course, let me know in the comments below. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, and ultimately, let's just have some fun. So please do consider subscribing, because I think we are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special. And I honestly see this channel just as much as mine as it is yours. I want us to all be proud to come over here and to really feel like we're part of something special. And honestly, we are well on our way to doing it. So without further ado, let's get right to it. We're watching a clip of Speak where they're talking about the Bills or Dolphins to win and clinch the AFC East. I definitely have some pretty strong opinions on this one, and so let's just wait and see what they have to say, and then I'll kind of share my views on it.
Would a Bills win on Sunday if they end up as a 2 seed, winning the AFC East?
Yeah.
What does it mean for the AFC?
It means a lot of things. First of all, it means that they're the scariest team in the AFC. Right? I think the best team in football is the Ravens. The best team in the AFC is the Ravens. But the scariest team, the hottest team, will be the Bills. People don't want to see a hot team, right? I remember with the Giants, they had that run where they won the road and beat everybody, right? The difference from here, if they get the second seed with the Bills, you got to come to Buffalo, other than the Ravens. And you talk about a home field advantage, oh, my God. I don't know if it's James Cook or whoever it's going to be. They're going to have a field day because nobody wants to tackle when it's cold. When it's cold in Buffalo like that. In Buffalo, it get cold. So if you're not really prepared for that, mentally you lose the game before you even get there. You start, look, you know who you play this week? Oh, we got the Bills playoffs. I was ready to do it. Wait, hold up. How cold it's going to be? That's the first question you're going to ask your homeboy. You're going to ask your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, your side chick, hey, how cold it's going to be in Buffalo?
You're not lying.
She going to tell you that. You're like, oh, my God. So if they can win this game and get the number 2 seed, oh, my God, you got to come to Buffalo. That's the advantage. And I think Josh Allen, the way he's playing right now, he's hot. He's smoking with that offense. They're going to be in trouble for a lot of teams.
Shady, if you ask your wife and your side
Ask your wife and your side chick. We're going to find out what he means by that in a second. But, okay, I wouldn't say that the Bills are the scariest. I think this would make the Bills the most confusing and the biggest question mark, and the hardest to some degree to prepare for mentally. That is. I think obviously preparing in terms of like the coaches and the players and looking at film and all that, right? That'll still all be the same, because it's not, I don't think that the Bills are doing things that you're just like, man, we have no idea what we're going to see necessarily. I think if the Bills win and lock in the number 2 seed, you know, the weather is a question mark. You have no idea how cold it's going to be. I don't know where you all live right now, but if you live in an area where the seasons actually kind of change and you get both cold and warm weather, it's been not that cold so far. And obviously, you know, weeks from now, that could just suddenly change in a second. So you just have no idea. And I don't know what the weather is like in Buffalo, right? It could easily end up being like a 35, 45 degree sunny game, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, you know. I don't know that. So I wouldn't say that they're the scariest. I just think that there would be the most confusing and the biggest question mark. And mentally, you're just like, all right, sure, the Bills are hot, you know, or whatever, or they've been playing well, but like, we know we can beat them. And so like, it's just like this weird thing, right? Like if you're going up against the Ravens, you know, like, all right, man, we got to bring it. We got to bring it. We got to bring it. Lamar can unleash at any second. He can just rip off for a run, and he can also just effortlessly throw like a 70-yard bomb. Oh my God, let's go, let's go, let's go. Right? And same thing with the 49ers. And it could be overwhelming. Whether or not you respect Brock Purdy or not, like if you're the defense and you're looking at that offense, you're just thinking, oh my God, we got McCaffrey, we got Debo, we got Kittle, like, oh my, you know, like, you know, Ayuk, we got all this kind of stuff. And then on the offensive, you're like, oh my God, this defensive line, like, right? Like you got to really be like, I got to bring my A game, let's go. So I just think that the Bills don't have that intimidation. So I don't know if that makes them scary, right? Like you need to be intimidated in order to be scared. you can be confused by them. And that's what I think you're going to have. You're going to be confused because you're going to be like, well, what are the Bills? I don't understand. They have such terrible losses, and they like have some big wins, but they've kind of just like snuck on by. Is Josh Allen good? I mean, like, I think Josh Allen is great, but I'm sure some players think that he's not good. You know, you're just like, you know, what's going on with them? You know, they almost didn't make the playoffs, and now they're the number 2 seed. Like, there's just a lot of confusion. I don't, you know, it's hard to have like a definitive opinion about the Bills because I don't think you can point to concrete data and concrete statistics at them like you can with, say, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, right? Like, there's very clear patterns is ultimately what I'm trying to say with the Chiefs, with the Cowboys, with the Dolphins, and not necessarily with the Eagles, right? That's what makes the Eagles so confusing, honestly, because the Eagles have beat big teams like the Cowboys, like the Chiefs, like the Bills, right? They beat these teams that we say are good, because if the Bills end up being the number 2 seed, well, the Eagles beat them, and they beat the Chiefs, you know, and they beat the Cowboys, who might be the 2 seed. Those are real wins. However you want to explain them, those are real wins, and those were wins. So, and that's why the Eagles people, you know, at least for me, coming from a place where I am an Eagles fan, indeed, like, I'm like, I don't know what the Eagles can do in the playoffs. I really don't. It's, for me personally, it's a giant question mark. It's like, can the Eagles do the same thing? If they face the Cowboys again, can they squeak out a win? Can they blow a team out? I have no idea. And so that's what it is with the Bills. You're just like, I have no idea, you know, like, what is going on here, you know? So that's just the way I look at it from this idea. And I'll kind of continue with my view of kind of the Bills versus the Dolphins in a second.
Chick, who do you believe?
No, I said girlfriend, wife, or side chick.
Okay, but it's like, say you ask them both, and they give you different answers. Who are you believing?
It depends what time you're asking. Okay. You know what I mean? Time from the wife, you know what I mean?
They each have different separate weather apps.
Yeah, it should be the same. It should be the same answer.
Yeah, but like,
That's a good point.
I
had a question.
it was a fair question.
For you to be so smart,
You
that's a dumb
you
question.
had a long list.
Like, iPhones look the same, bro.
Don't get me caught up.
Yeah.
Joy Taylor, answer us the question, what would a Bills win mean?
One of them got an Android. It would mean the Bills are still at the top of the AFC. Despite how crazy this season has gone, they end up winning this game. They're right back where they were last year, which is winning the division at the top of the AFC. And a lot of these games got to go through Buffalo. They've won the division. If this happens, they would have won the division 4 times in a row. The Chiefs have won it 8. That's way more than everyone else. The Bucs will have won it 3 times if they win. So that means they're right where they were last year. They took a little bit of a different path to get there.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the DNA that is in that locker room, the DNA that is in that coaching staff, the DNA that's in Josh Allen, still firing. And that's what that means. There's a reason why we fear Buffalo. There's a reason why every year at the start of the year, Josh Allen is in the MVP conversation in the MVP odds. There's a reason why we put them in the Super Bowl year after year after year, in the AFC Championship game year after year. We expect them to win the division year after year, because that's what they do. And if this happens, this will show that they really haven't taken as big of a step back as we think they have, which is scary, to Shady's point, for the rest of the AFC.
Yeah, this is scary. And if they get this done, right, this means, and it says, you don't want to see us. And the reason why I say that is because they have been in playoff mode for the last 5 weeks. And when you are in playoff mode, your rookies, a lot of your young players, second-year players, they are in playoff mode. When you get in the playoffs, the first game in the playoffs is the hardest game to get. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills been in playoff mode for the last 5 games. That's why when you watch that Dallas Cowboys.
So that's a good point. And now it's kind of giving them playoff experience, kind of. But it's not the exact same thing. Mark Sanchez has talked about this, you know, when you're new in the league and it's the first time you're in the playoffs and stuff. A lot of the shocking things that happens is the media attention that you're suddenly getting. And Mark Sanchez has a great story where he talks about because he went to back-to-back AFC championship games, I believe, or at the very least in an AFC championship game. And he talks about how when he enters the playoffs, and granted he's a quarterback, so he's going to be interviewed, right, and actually do the press conference. He talked about where it was like, whoa, there's a lot of people here, right, and you're just like, and it's just much larger. And this is even in New York, where there's already a ton of media. And then you go to the next round and it just gets even bigger and you're just like, whoa, like what is happening? And then the next round, it's like, whoa, my God, what is this? And, it just gets larger and larger and larger, and it's hard. Now, and I don't know, if you guys know the answer to this, please definitely let me know. They also talk about being the first time in the Super Bowl is confusing because the breaks are so much longer in between like not even just like formal timeouts when you actually officially call a timeout, but like the TV timeouts and stuff like that. It's much longer than doing a regular season game. So as a player, you're thrown off because you kind of have that rhythm. You've been in this doing the same thing game after game after game, and now you're suddenly in a game where a 1 minute break is turning into like a 4 minute break, and you're just like, what the heck is going on? And you get stagnant. And it's hard. It's a little bit harder to prepare for, and so players who have been in the Super Bowl talk about how that's kind of, like this thing that you get caught off guard. So even though these games are obviously intense and pressure cooker games for the Bills, I don't know if it's exactly giving them it's pseudo, playoff experience. And again, in the playoffs, I don't know if the timeouts are a little bit extra longer than the regular season, but they're just definitely not as long as the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is obviously like extra long, but I don't know if in the playoffs they still stretch it out a little bit for like extra commercials and stuff like that. So if anyone knows that answer, please definitely let me know in the comments because I would love to know that. So I get what his point is that now that these rookies and younger guys are just getting more experience in tighter, more intense environments, but it is a little bit different because also the fans, even though it's been playoff games for you, the fans aren't necessarily treating it as that, at least of the opposing team, so it's just not completely true, but it definitely does help. I think it's certainly better than nothing.
Boys game, it didn't mean the same. Buffalo was playing faster. Buffalo was playing more physical. It just looked like it was two different teams on the same field. When you talk about speed-wise and urgency-wise, Buffalo knew that this is the time. The young players have been in playoff mode. When you get into the playoffs, the hardest one to get is that first one. So a lot of these rookies on these other teams that haven't been in playoff mode, they already been in playoff mode in Buffalo. So this screams to me that it is going to be a problem if you got to come through Buffalo, and they have won the last 4 straight. And now it's going to be 5 straight, and you coming through Buffalo to a really confident, hot football team, and Josh Allen playing football the right way, it's going to be trouble.
2 questions.
Talk to me.
Are you cold? Is that why you got a hoodie on?
Yeah.
It's Hoodie Friday. This hoodie is a little bit thicker than usual, though.
Hoodie Friday.
It is
If
winter.
you play Buffalo, is the hoodie on?
Well, I mean, I put the hoodie on. I started the hoodie trend.
But I'm saying, if you playing Buffalo.
100%. I don't care what none of the coaches say. We don't wear sleeves. Ball may slip. I wear sleeves. I'm from California, homeboy. Okay.
It get cold in Buffalo.
You wear sleeves, though, right, Shady?
I mean,
See, that is a swagger, and this is why I always call out Acho, because Acho just doesn't have the NFL experience. And I was talking to a subscriber just last night about that, how Acho kind of overcompensates who he is because he just has essentially zero experience, honestly, in the actual NFL. I mean, it's just so minimal, and he tries to act like, yeah, man, I'm there, and he's now being sandwiched by 2 legitimate NFL players who have actually been there, who have actually done real stuff, who they actually look to as the leaders of a locker room and legit. And, I just love that moment because that just shows like that confidence. I will say this, I will add that if the Bills blow out the Dolphins, right? If they just really just blow them out again, and it's like I always hate making up scores, but I don't know, it's just a very convincing win, 35-14 or something. Again, I'm just making up numbers here, but you're just like, whoa, Bills looking good, because it's just like that would then make them scary, because then you would maybe start to believe, okay, the Bills have not only just won these past games, but they've actually really got something going now. But listen, if the Bills win by 2 touchdowns, but Josh Allen still throws like 2 interceptions, right? Like, you're still going to be like, Josh Allen, yeah, they won, but like he threw 2 interceptions, or he had an interception and a fumble, like you're still going to be like, yeah, they won. But again, it's still just going to be this question mark, right? It's like It's like a murderer. This is, bear with me. It's like a scary movie, I should say. Okay, not a murderer. It's like a scary movie. There's two different types of scary movies with like murderers outside of the, supernatural type scary movies. You have the ones that have either that wear a mask, right? The ghost face, some hockey mask, whatever it is, goalie mask. Or you have it where you just clearly see their face, right? You know exactly who that murderer is. And it's different, right? When they're wearing the mask and you're covering who they are, you're like, who is that? I don't know. And at first, right, before you realize maybe that they're a murderer, like you even see this in other scary movies, they're like, who is that? Stop messing around, you stop goofing off. Like you always see this in those movies, right? They think it's some girl thinks it's their boyfriend, right? Where they're just like, oh, stop it, you, and then they get murdered. It's kind of a cliche, honestly. And so that's what makes it more confusing. That's who the Bills are to me. Just that question mark of like, who are you? Are you my boyfriend? Are you Joey? Joey, stop it. Or, oh my God, you have a knife. Are you a murderer? Right? And now flip it on the other side. If you're in your house and you see some stranger who doesn't have a mask on and you just see them and you don't know them, you're immediately like, who the heck are you? Who are you? Right? Your heart is really beating now because you're just like, you're a stranger. I don't know who you are. You're reaching quickly for your phone to call 911. You're not hesitating at all. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's a different felt experience. And so I think that's really who the Bills are. And I think if the Bills now really blow out the Dolphins, then I think they're officially putting on that mask. And then you would really just be like, who is this? I don't know what I'm dealing with here.
No disrespect.
No, y'all good. Hey.
That's a good analogy. Come on now.
I'm a real man.
Yeah.
No, but you from Harrisburg though.
When we step on that field, if it's cold or hot, ain't no sleep, ain't none of that.
I love it.
Right?
I'm wearing sleeves, gloves,
hey, George Taylor, arms is out, everything's out. Holla at me.
You know what's crazy is they used to tell me that in Green Bay, and we come off the sideline, they the first ones by the heater. Where my jacket? I'm standing up cheering the crowd over my hoodie on. You not tough, bro.
Yo, it would be so cold in Buffalo. This is why they have a true advantage, though. I know we joking, but I'm gonna be serious though. And I'm the home team. When they would get cold out there in Buffalo, we played Miami Dolphins. They didn't want to play. They like, man, even like tacklers that would normally tackle me, it's like I'm breaking through. You not hitting me for real? Yeah. It would be so cold on the timeouts. I would go to the heater. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they say, "You right, Shady?" Yeah, I'll go in there, go in the game.
I'll be.
So he is right about that.
But you know what's crazy though? Because Green Bay, they used to be like, "We want home for the minute." You put me on the road, man. Get me up out of this snow and it's cold, man.
Shady, you have invaluable insight to the question that I am about to ask. I don't think anybody on TV can answer it better than you, and I'm honored to ask it. Year you won the Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl conversation we having on this show. The Bucs started 7-5.
Yeah.
Y'all won the last 4 games of the regular season.
Look how Acho talks, how he just tries to act like he's the man. This is a Super Bowl conversation we're having on this show. Yeah, man, every sports show is talking about the Super Bowl right now. We're like leading into the playoffs. Why are you acting like this is like this? We're talking about the Super Bowl right here. That's what we do on this show. Yeah, that's what they do in Undisputed. First Take, First Things First, The Herd, Get Up. I mean, every other show that I could not even, think of in this moment. So it's like, oh my gosh.
Season. Y'all went into the playoffs hot. Y'all won the next 4. Clearly, you won a Super Bowl. The Bills started off 6-6. Y'all started off 7-5. The Bills have won their last 4 games. If they beat the Dolphins, they would have won their last 5. Take me into the psychology of a team that started off struggling, won their last 4 or 5 in the Bills' case, gets into the playoffs. Take me into that Super Bowl psychology when you're in the midst of that hot streak. Are you looking around at everybody else realizing we're it?
Take me back, Shady. Take me back. No, but that's a great question you asked that because they're so similar, right? Because even though they started out rocky, 6-6, we started out 7-5. We were really, really good, and we knew we were really, really good. The Bills are coached very well. So are we. Bruce Arians is a really, really good coach. So we just had them bad moments where injuries happen, right? Guys are not playing. You got Tom Brady with all the reserves at one point in time. Mike Evans wasn't really healthy. The Bills had the same thing, right? The only difference is that our guys came back.
Also, you have Tom Brady, and everyone believes in Tom Brady. When you look at those players and those young players, if you ever watch like Hard Knocks and you got to see some of this more like candid footage, you see that they all look at Tom as like, oh my God, that's Tom Brady. I mean, they literally look at Tom and see an aura around him. I mean, so they truly, they just unconditionally are just like Tom Brady. Even Tom Brady was even able to, tame like the craziest people. He was able to tame Antonio Brown. I mean, I know the next season he got loose, but that's because Antonio Brown just kind of got even crazier and also had already won his Super Bowl. But prior to him winning that Super Bowl, he was just kind of doing whatever Tom Brady said, and it got him a Super Bowl. So the Bills don't have that. Yes, I think they believe in Josh Allen, but there's a difference. Tom Brady at that point in his career was, oh my God, that's Tom Brady. And there is a major difference. For anyone who's ever played sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, when you have a player who is that good, who is that elite and consistently that great and that elite, in those moments you look to him, you're like, come on, Mike, you know that the only way you're going to win this game is if Mike can step up, because you're giving it all. Your boy is giving it all and someone else is giving it all. And now you're just like, that only Mike, made up name, only Mike has that next gear that can really do it, and that when it comes down to him, he has the best chances of succeeding in the moment. Let's get the ball to him, and that's a real felt experience that you have. And so you're going to have that with Tom Brady that I don't know. And again, I love Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is amazing. And I think you have that to a degree with Josh Allen if you're a player, but it's not unconditional, right? Even Diggs one time earlier in the season was like looking at Josh Allen and was like, use your head, use your head. No one's saying that to Tom Brady. No one's saying that to Patrick Mahomes. No one is maybe a coach is, right, which is a different relationship, but no other player is looking at a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes and saying, use your head, right? That's not what they're doing, okay? So there is a significant difference in when comparing those experiences. But what do you all think? I know I've said a lot in this episode, and so I would absolutely love to hear your opinions. Do you think, if the Bills win, that they are going to be scary, that teams are going to genuinely be like, oh my God, we got to face the Bills, and they are fired up and ready to go? Or do you think, you're just going to be like, whatever, I'm ready to face the Bills. We can beat the Bills. They're not that good, yada, yada, yada. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments below. And please, please, please do not forget to subscribe. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special, and I want you to be part of it. I want us to all feel like we are part of something bigger than ourselves and something that we can be truly proud of. And I think we are well on our way to doing that. So thank you so much, and see you next time.